Good morning, everybody. This is David with Hagerty in our Redline rebuild updates. Today, Ben and I are heading south, going down to Trail Buddy with our CT70 parts, and we got hopefully some cool stuff to do while we're down there. Let's get rolling. Bada boom, bada bing. We're riding in style. This bad boy's got heat.
Must be the place.
Sure. What do we say? All right. Hey, that short little drive, and we are here. And obviously, you can see this is the right place. All right, so after a short drive and 1 cup of coffee, I'm standing here with Mark at Trail Buddy. We're in their paint booth. The body is up. I keep calling it the body. What do you like to call it? The frame?
Yeah, the frame.
Probably. Okay, fair enough. Frame body, and frames on their stand. This is sweet. I love the fact that, you know, obviously when you're doing you're doing the same thing, I'll say over and over, right? You can get some customized stands.
Sure.
Obviously, this works really well. I won't tell you what we used at the other shop.
You got the bike building stand.
But well, yes, I do. Yes, and that I will be using that soon.
Nice.
But yeah, so before we get started, I mean, so we filled the one little body, you know, dinger in there. That's filled. We have an epoxy primer on it, and then we have a sealer on it, and some flattening primer. We'll say it's wet. Basically, to the point where you're going to take it from there. So,
Sure.
What steps do you see that we need to continue before it's shiny and ready to go home?
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 600 grit sandpaper and we're just going to knock down any high spots, any orange peel. We're going to try to get as flat as we can. I don't know. I'm always using a foam backer so you don't see my fingers.
Right.
Through
Yep.
all
Yeah,
your
you don't get the
sanding,
ridges
so
in it. Yep.
We'll start out with that, and then to level that all out, we'll go with Scotch-Brite. So then we'll get in all in the cracks areas and things that you can't get with the sandpaper. I always like to say only sand where you want the paint to stick.
That makes sense.
That's a good rule.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Because you've got mechanical adhesion and chemical adhesion. So we want the mechanical right now because it's set for a little bit.
Yeah. We're well, I guess over the weekend. So we did it on Thursday. But yeah, okay, cool.
Sure.
Well, that's simple enough.
No. Yeah. So then we'll move into the silver.
Okay.
Spray the silver over top of that, and then.
No, wait, hold it now. This spike's gonna be orange, not silver. What do you get? I know it's a tri-stage, so I'm kind of baiting you here a little bit. But so, what do you mean by you're painting it silver? I mean, how's this
So
the tri-stage working?
the silver is actually the metallic underneath the dye.
Okay.
So then over top of that you got the clear. So we'll do the silver. We'll try to get our flake. We'll be mixing the gun as we go to try to get a nice even silver metallic flake. And then we'll go over it with what we've got here, which is the dye.
Which looks like iodine. It reminds me of iodine.
So this one I've got mixed 50-50 with reducer. So
Gotcha.
So if you look at the side, that's kind of the orange that we're going to get.
So
now, the intensity of this is dependent on how many coats you put on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so as I'm spraying, I'll do all my detail work first. I'll get inside. We try to get in here as best we can, but it's the inside of the motorcycle. You've got really good primer in there, so that's like the best. You get the primer up in the neck. So you kind of
we tried to really drench it in there. So
we'll get silver in there and then the dye, but this will be 4, 5, 2 coats.
Gotcha, yeah.
We'll stop right when we get the color the way we like it. Now we've got an original piece over here where we're going to use that as kind of a guide, and then after that we'll do the the clear, which that's the shiny, and then hopefully one of your runs or anything goes bad.
Exactly. I get you. All right, cool. Okay, so here's why you bring it to someone that looks at more than one of these. So you'll notice that this is the steering stop. So as the neck rotates around, it stops. Now, if you remember, we had that ding in the tank or the side of the body here, and we're like, man, I wonder where that kind of came from. Well, that's probably why, because this stop needs to be a whole lot longer. It should look like this one up here on this bike where this hangs down. And it's simply a welded on piece. In fact, Mark happens to have some that are laser cut and ready to be welded on.
You know, if I get a triple tree, I'll usually put it in here. I'll do that just before we paint it.
Right.
I'll just make sure I got the right clearance on the stops. But the big thing is getting in line with that
Seam.
That body seam, and then we're going.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. It looks good.
How's the welds look?
Nice job welding. I like it.
I don't know how many of those I've ever done in my lifetime, but it's not a little bit.
I bet a bunch of them. Yeah.
All right, back
Yeah,
to
that's
painting.
dramatically different than what was on there.
Yeah, back to painting.
No, cool. Sweet. Good catch. Yeah, so we got our first coat on, and obviously Mark knows this patience to stop, let it basically flash off.
Yeah.
Like I'll say any painting project, but this is really interesting because this is not orange. We'll say it that way, right?
Nope.
So bear with us, folks. It will get orange, but as that build gets out there, that's where that translucent peak comes in. And
Yeah.
like you were saying, the red starts to kind of starts to
If you look
overtake
at the bottom
some
of the
things.
cup where it's super thick,
Yeah,
like that thickness is what we're going to build up, and
yeah,
that'll be the color we want.
right. Yeah, but in the meantime, it just, that real thin layer. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a beautiful gold.
Yeah, but
For all
if I
intents
go
and purposes.
too much, it'll pool on there, or
Yeah.
it'll gather around all these weld seams
Right.
because it's relatively thin. It's not like a base coat where it's got the metallic built into it.
Yeah, yeah.
You just want good coverage.
Right.
This one I want to try to get as consistent as I can.
Yep. Now
It's hard around the details because I'm trying to get in and fill in all these little spots, but I can't hold my gun there too long because all that will get darker.
Right, right. Now you were saying that if you were to spray a different color, it actually starts off opposite. Is that what you were saying?
It can, depending on the mix of the color.
Right.
It's like the candy gold will look like a yellow special almost in the first one or two coats.
Yeah.
And the red's kind of fun because you spray that and it looks pink.
I bet. Yeah. Wow. Well, he was right. Look at the difference between the main body or the main frame and then our swing arm, how much difference that color is just in the added layers. So you got a single layer on the back and then 2 layers on the front. He figured we'll probably be at 4 when we're all done to get enough of that buildup. But that's impressive. That's really interesting how that's working. I've never seen anything along that lines. And I'm also glad he's doing it. I'd have one big runny, blotchy mess. Looking gorgeous. That is looking good. I like it.
What's the last step here? Now we're going to move to the clear. So the clear will level everything. Right now it kind of you get some gloss sheen stuff, so where things look shinier because it's flashing off still. But we get the clear coat off over the top of this, and it'll look gorgeous.
I'm telling you, that turned out beautiful, Mark. That's awesome. So we're going to continue working here today because, well, we got to make our time to the best of our advantage, right? So we have our forks with us as well, and we're going to tear these things down, and Mark's promising me fresh oil in them and seals. Sound good?
Good. The worst part of this is the corrosion here on these upper fork tubes.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fasteners out, and we'll probably maybe lightly sand or file that off. Mm-hmm. And we'll open that up, we'll slide these out, and then we'll work our way down into the fork lowers and replace the seals, the rubber boots, and we'll inspect the springs to make sure they're not cracked or anything.
Okay. So then what's actually in here? Because I've never had one of these apart. So you obviously this is just holds everything together up to the top, mm-hmm. and you have a spring as far as some suspension.
Correct.
Obviously a boot just for dust,
yep.
more or less. And then you have one seal in here.
Yep. So
we'll
have our upper seal, and then it's not as in depth as like it's like a motocross fork. There's not any like real super velving in there, but it is oil dampened. So we've got our drain, and it's filled from the top. Mm-hmm. So the parts that we're going to rebuild, I think there is also a bushing in here. Every year they kind of switch them up depending on the year it is, but mm-hmm. there could be a bushing in there that may or may not be. No, you seem pretty good, but there might be a bushing in there that's wore out.
Right. Okay.
We'll just go through, clean it up, and then hopefully we don't have any pitting on our lowers down here, so we don't eat up our seals.
Right. Right. Okay.
So
that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we'll dig into it, and we'll clean up the bottom. We'll make these look like new, and we've got to replace the bellows. And yeah, they're pretty simple, basic forks.
Mastered that one. Look at that.
Got it? Look at that.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that worked out real well.
We might be able to just pop it out because I think there's a compression ring right there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Yeah. So that compression ring, we should be able to just pop it and go past the seat.
Okay.
And it should just pull right up. So from what I remember, you should be able to give it a good yank, and it should pull.
Well, that'll be this one then.
Yeah, it should pull right
They'll
apart.
just. Well, look at that.
I remember what I was doing.
Nice job. Yeah, that looks good. Really good. Wow, these look remarkable from what they were. And like you said, our shaft looks pretty good. As far as where it rides on the seal, there's going to be no issues there. Like you said, we won't fill these up until we're ready to assemble them.
Yep.
And we got a couple other things to wrap up. So we're gonna take these back and shoot some paint on them, and then we'll put the bellows and everything on and have these little rings re-chromed. And of course, you got a couple more things to clean and paint for us, but
Yep.
minor
Chain
stuff.
guard
Right?
and our triple tree and
Yeah. And we're in good shape. Good shape at that point. So yeah. So we have rebuilt shocks today, and we have our front forks, I guess is the better way to say it. Yeah. And our body looks remarkable in the framework there. It looks just, that paint come out really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, it's amazing how it changes through their process.
It does. Yeah, that whole progression. I can't wait to see it on a time lapse because that progression is just going to be like, wow, it went from yellow to orange, like in this real slow stage. So that's cool. Yeah, so that kind of puts it a wrap here today for us at Trail Buddy and with Mark. And thank you for your hospitality. Greatly appreciate it.
It's been great work. Thanks for the work.
So yeah, and we'll be back down in a couple days, 3-4 days, whatever it is, and pick the frame back up from you when it's got plenty of time to cure. So, I hate to wrap it in a blanket and then have all that impression marks on the side of it. That would be that's to see a grown man cry at that point. But hey, like always, and Mark knows he's gonna run home, get in his shop, and get his work done too, because we were at his shop today. He's got some projects to finish, just like I do. So see you guys later. Have fun. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's good. That's good. I like it. It's almost, you can feel it's tighter.
No, you got a good front end.
Yeah, that's good.